There are so many incredibly wealthy people throughout Jeffrey Epstein's career that have just like decided to use Jeffrey Epstein for his brilliant, I guess, financial acumen or something. It's very suspicious. It's very weird. Once again, we still don't know what the real reason was. Brace yourself if you have not seen this before. This is a very famous deposition from 2010. Let's take a look.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Have you ever had a personal...
This deposition has crazy stuff in it. They talk about his egg-shaped penis in it. This deposition also has a very famous line from it where Jeffrey Epstein says, "I hate files." Like, this is it's terrifying. It's fascinating. It's also kind of funny in a weird way because this is not a funny situation at all. But you know, when you got a guy like Jeffrey Epstein being like, "I hate files," like, it's kind of funny. I guess maybe he just hates competition. I don't know. Even though he literally was, you know, the most prolific. Well, I guess Jimmy Savile was more prolific than Jeffrey, potentially. Yeah, it's like King Von saying end gun violence. Trump on people pleading the Fifth Amendment, disgraceful. I mean, Trump himself has done that as well. So, yeah, here's a compilation from the deposition.
Would you raise your hand, please? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter now pending should be the
No,
truth,
this is a
the whole
different
truth, and nothing but the
deposition.
truth?
Yes, ma'am.
This is from 2012.
Would you please state your full name?
I'm Jeffrey Edward Epstein, and my residence address is 6100 Red Hook Boulevard in Virgin Islands.
Do you maintain
Dogs.
any other residences presently?
I have vacation homes in New Mexico, Palm Beach, New York, and Paris.
The Paris one was attended by Noam Chomsky, and the New Mexico one, also known as Zorro Ranch, is very famously frequented by Bill and Hillary Clinton. And of course, the Manhattan one was frequented by virtually everyone from former Israeli prime ministers, heads of state. Yes, Noam Chomsky went to and linked up with at least Jeffrey Epstein's butler, I'm pretty sure, in Paris, in his Paris home. The New York one, chill, bro, don't implicate my goat. I mean, is just true. Noam Chomsky and his wife had dinner with Jeffrey Epstein, I think. Yeah, I mean, they were in France. That's the norm there. Kids and stuff. True. He don't got internet. Noam Chomsky absolutely has internet. Where was I? Hold on. This is not about Noam Chomsky. The New York one famously also had Elon Musk's brother, Kimball Musk. He frequented the New York mansion as well. So I call balls and strikes on this broadcast. So yeah, I'm not gonna shelter you from the truth. You know, when it comes down to some of our faves being implicated, Noam Chomsky, absolutely. We found out only a couple of years ago he had contact with Jeffrey Epstein. It's true. You have to remember, this is why we want to know the extent of people's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Know what I mean? Yeah, I've covered it.
That's kind of wild. Like, is he the worst person? I don't know. I mean, there's like people that are worse for sure, but he is up there. You know what I mean? Like, he's up there. He's definitely up.
Yeah, I covered it back then when we found out, May 1st, 2023.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes.
What was the crime of which you were convicted?
Two counts. One, soliciting prostitution, and procuring a minor for prostitution.
By the way, that is a lowered crime that he was convicted of. The original crime that he was investigated for and charged for and should have been convicted on was trafficking of minors. Okay? Because that was actually what he did. But as it stands, when you get a sweetheart plea bargain deal, okay, they lower that crime to soliciting prostitution from minors, even though he was the one who actually, first of all, it's crazy to say that, minors are doing prostitution, because it's just, you're doing statutory, like there's no, it's not like these minors have a 1099 that they're filling out at the end of their, long work day. Like, that's crazy. It almost comes across as like a professional situation where there's like some kind of consent established. That's not the case. You cannot consent when you're a minor. This is part of the reason why people don't say CP anymore. They don't say child pornography anymore. They say child material, because pornography is something that can be done legally, and in the overwhelming majority of cases is done by consenting adults who have jobs, right? Like it's very different than someone who is incapable of consenting. Let's continue. Yeah, this is
In fact, commit those acts?
I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right.
How many times have you solicited a minor for prostitution?
Same answer.
How many times have you solicited a minor for prostitution in the state of Florida?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for prostitution in the Virgin Islands?
Same answer.
That is, you are invoking your Fifth Amendment,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, Mr. Squirrel.
Have you ever solicited for prostitution in New York?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited for prostitution in New Mexico?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited for prostitution in Paris?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for prostitution anywhere at any time?
Again, I'm going to assert my right.
Let's take
Did
another
you
break.
ever-
We're going to go off the record.
So you are terminating the deposition at this time?
The recess of the deposition.
What college did you attend?
Cooper Union.
And did you get a degree from Cooper Union?
No, sir.
How many years were you in college?
I believe 2.
What'd you study?
Physics.
Cooper Union, no degree, goes to the Dalton School. Bill Barr, the attorney general that oversaw Jeffrey Epstein's possible assassination when he was in federal prison. Bill Barr's father was the head of the Dalton School and was the person who gave him his first job as a math teacher at the Dalton School, for the record, regardless of the fact that he had not even finished his undergraduate degree.
Well, isn't it true that you were a teacher at the Dalton School in New York after college? It's just unheard of. It's just an unbelievable scheme to have kept going for that long of a period of time. Do you consider yourself to be bisexual?
No.
Okay. In any event, you did develop a sexual relationship with Leslie Wexner at some point in time. Is that true?
No.
Oh, that's the other thing. I forgot. Oh my God, there's so much there. So Les Wexner, the founder of like Limited Brands, Victoria's Secret, many others, major Ohio booster, one of Ohio's biggest billionaires. Les Wexner is the guy that took him from the Dalton School when I think he was fired from the Dalton School, if I remember correctly. There's like so much going on there. But Les Wexner basically took Epstein under his wing and basically gave him power of attorney over his entire fortune. There are so many incredibly wealthy people throughout Jeffrey Epstein's career that have just like decided to use Jeffrey Epstein for his brilliant, I guess, financial acumen or something. It's very suspicious. It's very weird. Once again, we still don't know what the real reason was. We still don't know how he made his money. And when I say we, I mean the public doesn't know how he made his money. But obviously, people who investigated his financial crimes alongside his sex crimes at least have a better understanding, because there is a paper trail. There's, thousands of wire transfers from incredibly wealthy people, other disgraced financiers like Leon Black and like Like Les Wexner, I was wrong. He went to Bear Stearns first, climbed up the ranks at a pace no one had ever heard of, went out of his own, and then was appointed power of attorney with Wexner. Yeah. Why wasn't the IRS all over this guy? I mean, because I think he's a federal agent. But yeah, he left Dalton School. He went to Bear Stearns, and then Les Wexner brought him in at some point. But Wexner also gave him power of attorney, remember, and it's very interesting that like Les Wexner, he's not dead, he's still around, you know, he's still a omega billionaire. People know who he is, right? And yet no one ever asks like what the level of connection that he had with Les Wexner. Anyway, let's continue.
Mr. Epstein, how long have you been sexually attracted to underage minor females?
Objection, harassing, argumentative. Are you kidding?
I mean, I don't feel like I'm divulging any secrets here, right?
Move to strike.
Mr. Epstein, were you abused as a minor?
Yeah, there are rumors that Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein were in a secret gay romantic relationship as well.
Wait, again?
Were you as a minor?
You know, I'd like to respond to all your, if any, questions seem to be relevant, but I would like to respond to any relevant question at this time. However, my attorneys have counseled me that I cannot provide answers to the questions relevant to this lawsuit today. I must accept their advice or risk losing my Sixth Amendment right to effective representation. Accordingly, then, I assert my Fifth, Sixth, and 14th Amendment right to the United States Constitution.
This is from another deposition in 2009.
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Is it true, sir, that you have what's been described as an egg-shaped form? I had hired psychologists to do a psychological profile on Jeffrey Epstein, what type of person he was, and what would actually get under his skin. What made him tick was that he was a narcissist. He had no ability to feel empathy and saw himself as the master of puppets, so to speak. Sir, one witness described your as oval-shaped and claimed when erect it was thick towards the bottom but was thin and small towards the head portion and called it egg-shaped. Those are not my words, I apologize. But as Mr. Critton has stated, that this is a... I'm willing to continue. I hate to call him back. Let me go on the record. He tries at all times to be the master of his domain and in control of his world. As soon as he feels he's out of control, it's unsettling to him.
Complaint filed by Virginia Roberts against you. Isn't it true, sir, that a friend of yours sent you 3 12-year-old females for you to use on one of your birthdays?
Form argumentative.
I missed the egg bit. Okay, I haven't missed it. I've seen it a million times over. Okay, calm down.
And irrelevant to this lawsuit. But you're saying it's part of the lawsuit?
Yeah, I'll read it directly.
It was Jeffrey's birthday one.
On one of defendant Epstein's birthdays, a friend of defendant Epstein sent him 3 12-year-old girls from France who spoke no English for defendant to exploit and abuse. After doing so, they were sent back to France the next day. Isn't that true?
Once again, I'm going to move to strike. Irrelevant, argumentative, harassing. I would like to answer that question. I really would. However, today, my attorneys have told me I have to assert my Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, and 14th Amendment rights of the U.S. Constitution.
You're invoking your Fifth Amendment rights to each of these questions because you know that your answers will incriminate you and you feel that it will result in you being prosecuted for these crimes. Isn't that right?
Objection, argumentative, harassing, and calls for a legal conclusion.
Yeah, his friend in France is Jean-Luc Brunel, who was in the modeling industry and was also a alleged prolific trafficker and an associate of Jeffrey Epstein, who also found himself in a Parisian prison and also had a untimely demise, not dissimilar to Jeffrey Epstein. He also felt really sad in jail, I guess, and he also himself in jail, just like Jeffrey Epstein did.
No, in fact, the Supreme Court recently said that the Fifth Amendment right is there to protect the innocent. So that's the way I'd like to answer that.
Are you released from jail at some time? Do you have to report back to jail on a daily basis?
Yes, I report back to jail at 8 p.m.
Every single day?
Yes, sir.
And is it 7 days a week that you're out on work release?
No, sir.
How many days a week are you out on work release?
6.
And of those,
This motherfucker, as a file sex trafficker, was allowed to leave the prison on work release 6 days a week. Okay, and considering that he's self-employed, he wasn't actually like going to work. He didn't have like a job. There is no planet where someone who is serving a prison sentence on sex trafficking charges or any charges related to like minors gets to walk freely throughout their sentence. You can't even get this kind of work release for a DUI. If it was jail, he wasn't serving his sentence. Jail is for pre-sentencing. No, prison. Okay, he was in prison, but it wasn't real prison because he was allowed to leave his prison 6 days a week.
those 6 days, how many hours per day are you out on work release?
12.
But he just went back to prison to go to sleep.
Video record at 12:02 p.m.
Let's talk about Jane Doe 102, Virginia Roberts. Do you know Virginia Roberts?
So she's, again, who?
Virginia Roberts.
Can you spell it?
Common spelling, Virginia, like the state.
Can you spell it for me, please?
Roberts.
How's it, what's the last name? How's it spelled?
Roberts, I believe.
Isn't it true that you and Ghislaine Maxwell celebrated her 16th birthday with her?
Yeah, that chatter is wrong. You can go to county jail. You can go to jail for sentences depending on your crime, depending on your conviction. And I don't know if Jeffrey Epstein was in prison or in jail, but he did have a work release regardless. And yeah, it's got to be 364 days. If it's more than a year, you go to prison. I mean, his sentence was longer than a year. His sentence was like a year and a half, I believe. So I think he was in prison. But again, it changes. It varies from state to state. This was also a state charge. Like, this is a Florida state charge. The one that he went to prison over, or one that he went to jail over, doesn't matter, whatever. The one where he was imprisoned over, where he was carrying out a sentence, that one was a state charge. The state of Florida, of course.
With her on that day.
Form, compound, confusing, argumentative, and harassing.
I'd like to answer that question. But today, I'm going to have to assert my Sixth Amendment rights, my Fifth Amendment rights.
Is it true?
Anyway, goddamn, there's so many motherfuckers been to jail and prison in here. Society is basically set up to fund the lavish lifestyles of pedophiles. Kind of. All right.